Now we turn our attention to the new high-tech solution to fighting diabetes developed right here in Minnesota. And to tell us all about it, we're very pleased to have with us Lonny Stormo, the CEO of POPS. Glad to have you here.
Thank you very much for having us.
Before we have you talk about POPS, I understand that this is something that's very personal, diabetes to you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your personal story?
Yeah, I'm kind of an odd case. I don't have a long family history of diabetes, and I didn't get diabetes when I was a child. I got it kind of midlife in my 30s. Very active person, and actually my first symptoms were I would get cramps after I would go running. Didn't understand what it was, kind of ignored it as a lot of people do, ignore first symptoms, and it wasn't until my vision started getting blurry that I actually ended up finding out, going to the emergency room and finding out that I had diabetes, which was quite a shock for me, as you can imagine.
And how did that lead to developing POPS?
Yep. So as I was managing my diabetes, and I would test my blood sugar with a test kit similar like this 5 times a day on an average, and I mentioned I run. One of the things that was always frustrating to me when I was running is it's not very easy to carry this around when I'm running. And so I just felt like as I was managing my own condition, that there was a better way. There needed to be a better way for diabetics to kind of self-manage, which is one of the, this is one of the conditions where self-management's a key.
It really is. I mean, you have to keep those blood sugars level. You can't have the highs and the lows, which is very common.
Right.
To control that.
I try to manage, within a range of, 70 to about 200 at the most, because if you go lower than that, you start to have, immediate conditions like sweating, fainting, etc. If you get higher than that, that's when you start to have all the complications that come from diabetes.
So what is POPS and how does it work?
Right. So POPS Diabetes Care is really creating a new care model for diabetics. Today, when I talk about the complications from diabetes, most people don't know that 3/4 of the cost of diabetes are actually because of the complications. So people aren't doing very well with the current care model because this kit is inconvenient, it's painful, you can't do much with it once you see the result. And so what we really have is a solution that engages and empowers the patient using the power of our phones, using the power of the mobile platform.
Yeah.
And everybody has a phone today, right? So really our solution is 2 things. It's one, a small module on the back of the phone that makes testing now as easy as carrying your phone.
Wow, you've barely noticed.
And it uses the power of the phone to basically, create that engagement and self-care.
And there isn't anything like this on the market currently?
There is nothing on the market like this currently. Almost all diabetics are testing with a kit similar to this. They lovingly call it their shaving kit or their zip-up case, things like that.
So how does it work?
So now when I test, as I mentioned, I can simply just pull up my app. I touch one of the test sites on here, and then it engages with the meter, and I lance myself that simply. I put blood on the test strip, and I get a result on the phone. So that's simply how it works. So it's a much easier system, something that's with you all the time because you're carrying it. And as you saw, I could test right here just very simply, and I don't have to assemble a test kit and unzip it on the table. And for instance, if I'm at work, become the center of attention that now I have diabetes. Now I can walk down the hallway at work and see that I don't have diabetes.
And there's other components to this care as well as just
right. So once you get
sugars.
the number on your phone, now you can start to use the power of the phone. And really what we want to do is create a virtual healthcare professional interaction with the patient every day. So your phone can start to do intelligent things like ask you questions, prompt you to do certain things, text you, reward you, educate you. And so now the patient becomes much more engaged in their diabetic care instead of just testing and having a number and reacting to that number.
And if the future would also be interacting with maybe with your doctor in the clinic as well?
Exactly. So for the patients who need that additional care, you also have the connectivity of the phone. And so as I just tested my blood sugar, I have this set up. I enabled the text. So my wife just got a text that said, Lonny tested his blood sugar and it was 115. In addition to that, there's a connectivity. If I want to give my healthcare professional access to this information, now they have a dashboard of all their patients that are managing with this system, and they can see on a real-time basis who's struggling and who needs a reach out and some additional help beyond what the phone can give them.
And is it available yet to the public?
Right. It's not available to the public. We're still developing the system, and we have to go through FDA approval. We now have a working system, as I just demonstrated for you, and as I'm using on a regular basis in a non-FDA approved manner. But we're basically getting patient feedback so that we can go out and make the best system and get that FDA approved.
So if someone wants more information about it, how they go about doing
Right.
that?
So popsdiabetescare.com is the best place to go and see what we're doing. You can also send us a message through that website, and you can also follow us on Instagram at popdiabetes.
Well, we'll have to have you come back when you get that FDA approval and tell us where things are and how people can get more information about it.
We would love to do that.
All right. Thanks, Lonny.
Thanks for having us.
Great invention there.
Thank you. We're excited about it and excited about giving diabetes a new chance.
Sounds great.